discuss the sections of your unpaid seller. So before starting this unpaid seller, I'm just going to tell you first of all a very a simple definition of the term what is unpaid seller. Okay, so suppose A is the person, B is the person. Okay, B is buyer and A is seller. Done. So the seller have to give the goods to the B person, and in that case B have to give the rupees to A person. Suppose if B person have not paid the money, what I say, if the B person not paid the money, then the A person will be called as the unpaid seller. Unpaid seller. See, a very simple definition of the term unpaid seller, but we have to see the exact section and the wordings of the section. Now see, section 45, it's talk about the definition of unpaid seller, and in this class we have to discuss the rights of the seller. So the section which relate to the rights of the unpaid seller is important. Definition is simply that is given in section 45. Now what is unpaid seller definition in the contract in the SOGA Act? See, the seller of good is deemed to be unpaid seller within the meaning. 2 points are there. The first point, when the whole of the price has not been paid or tendered. The first one is the price is not paid. So in that way, the seller will be called as the unpaid seller. And the second definition, see, the or is given. Or means the definition include this plus this also. Okay, plus no, it's or. Or means ya to ye. Okay, so B say that, see, that now that we will go in the definition of B. When the bill of exchange or other negotiable instrument has been received as a conditional payment. See, in this if we want to discuss the B part, then see, in Negotiable Instrument Act, as we know that in Negotiable Instrument Act we have to deal with the promissory note, bill of exchange, and the third one is check. Okay, these are the 3 points of Negotiable Instrument Act. So in that case, when the bill of exchange, and these are the instrument in which the money is transferred from one person to another person. This is the basic definition of the term, this one. Okay, so in the B part, when the bill of exchange or other negotiable instrument has been received as a conditional payment and the condition on which it was received had not been filled or by the reason of dishonor, it means that in Negotiable Instrument Act, if a person transfer money to the B through the document, so when the document reached to the B, and in that case the B become the unpaid seller because this document become the dishonor. Dishonor means the money is not received by B person because the document is maybe some formalities are not fulfilled, some remaining thing is to be done, so the instrument become dishonor. So in that way we can say that if the price is money, the price is not paid, then this is the exact definition. And the second one is when the bill of exchange and these are dishonor, then in that case the person will be called as the unpaid seller. Okay, so these are the 2 definitions of the unpaid seller. Done. Now next, in this chapter, the term seller includes, seller means simply any person who is the position of the seller, as for instance an agent of the seller to whom bill of lading has been endorsed, or consignor or agent who has himself paid or directly responsible for the price. It means the seller is the person who want the money because the seller has given the ownership of the good to the other person. So that's why if the buyer is not given the price, then the seller is called the unpaid seller. So this is the exact definition which is given under clause 1 and clause 2 of the Sales of Good Act. So hope so the definition is clear to all of you. Okay, now the main thing that we have to discuss is unpaid seller, not side, that rights. Okay, the unpaid seller right. Okay. So the first, see, the right of the unpaid seller is toward the goods and towards the buyer. Okay. So first of all, we have to see the, first of all, we have to see the exact, the definition of the term rights against the goods and rights against the buyer of the unpaid seller. Okay, now see. First of all, if we talk about the rights against the unpaid seller toward the goods, so three rights are there. We have to discuss three rights. The first one is lien. Second one is stoppage. You can see this stoppage. And third one is sale, resale. These are the three things that is right against this one. So what is the exact section? 46 of a right against the goods of unpaid seller. See, this, why this law language is difficult, because many things are involved in the sentence. You can see that subject to the provision of this act and any law for the time being in force, so much difficulties. But what you have to catch, because you are not going to study the LLB's act, you have to only pick the important contents of the section. So the first one is lien. Now what is lien? Lien means basically the one word is to hold. Okay, lien means to hold. So lien on goods for the price while he is in possession of this. Suppose buyer have not given the price to the seller, so the seller can hold the goods till the full payment is not done. That is called lien. Okay, so lien is the right of the unpaid seller. Second one, in the case of insolvency of the buyer. Now see, the insolvency, if I talk about the insolvency, so the insolvency should be declared by the court. Okay, insolvency should be declared by the court. So in this case, the insolvency of the buyer, a right of stopping the goods in transit after he has parted with the possession. So this is the second right of the unpaid seller, that he can stop the goods which are just in the transit, which are going toward the buyer. Okay, so this is the second one. And the third one is right of resale. Resale means, suppose if the buyer is not ready to give the money, so the seller have a right, unpaid seller have a right, that he can sell it to the another buyer. That is the resale. So we have done with the three rights. You can see three rights of the unpaid seller toward the goods: lien, stoppage the transit, and resale. Okay, now what is given in second clause? Second clause is not so much important, only you have to remember these three key points of the section 46. Okay, now see, where the property in goods has not been passed to the buyer, okay, the unpaid seller has, in addition to his other remedies, a right of withholding the delivery. Withholding means you have a right to withhold. So you can say that this is similar to the term lien. Okay, this is similar to the term lien. So a right of withholding the delivery, similar to and coextensive with his rights of lien and stoppage in transit where the property has passed to the buyer. So this is the exact definition of this one. Okay, so if you have any doubt regarding these questions, you can easily ask in a comment box. Now see, what is the exact section of the stoppage in transit? So section 50 defines the right of stoppage in transit. Now what it say? When the buyer of the goods become insolvent, the unpaid seller who has parted with the possession of goods has a right of stopping them in transit. That is to say, he may resume the possession of goods as long as they in the course of transit, and may retain them until the payment is not paid. Retain means simply to retain, to hold. So you can just write a one word, right of stoppage in transit. That's it. Okay, only you have to learn one word. So 45 we have done, 46 we have done, 50. and remaining is also suit for breach of contract. Suit for breach of contract. So in that case, we are now going to study the right of the unpaid seller against the buyer. Okay, right of unpaid seller against the buyer. Now see, first is suit for price. What is suit for price? Where under a contract of sale, the property in the goods has passed to the buyer and the buyer wrongfully neglect and refuses to pay the goods according to the terms of the contract, the seller may sue for the price of the good. So the first thing is price. See, the exact suit means to file the case. So under this contract sale, the property in the goods has been passed to the buyer. The buyer wrongfully neglect or refuses to pay the goods according to the terms of the contract. The seller may refuse for the price of the goods. Please see this. This is important, suit for the price. Okay. So we will do the important sections of your all the subject of LRAB. We have done with the module A. We are doing module D. Okay, so our target will be that in this coming week we will finish module D. Next week we will finish C, and then I don't think there is a much section in module B. Okay, so C and D module is important because in these two module, I'm just writing module C and this B is very important. Sorry, C and D, in which the questions of 1 marks and half marks can be come. Okay, and please always see the 7:30 p.m. session also and 9 p.m. session also. In 7:30 p.m. session also, we are just doing the quick revision of your LRAB. So from 1st January we are just doing this quick revision. So you can just go to the Officers Adda's channel and just click on the playlist. In the playlist, all the video of LRAB will become. And in 9 p.m. session, we were doing the questions, and now we were doing the important sections. Okay. The suit of price is clear to all of you. Second one, where under a contract of sale, the price is payable on the day certain, irrespective of delivery, and the buyer wrongfully neglect or refuses to pay the price, the seller may sue him for the price although the property in the goods has not passed and the goods have been not appropriate to the contract. So simply one word is that is price. Okay, this rights is belong to the price. Okay, suit for the price, that's it. Now next one, damages for non-acceptance. What is damages? Damages means the compensation. See, there is one damage. This damage means injury. And this damages means compensation. So compensation for the non-acceptance. What it say? Where the buyer wrongfully neglect or refuses to accept and pay for the goods, the seller may sue him for the damages for the non-acceptance. Okay, the buyer wrongfully neglect means, you know, laparwahi. Wrongfully neglect means it's your legal duty that you have to do that thing and you are not doing that thing. That is called. So there must be neglect in the legal duty. So if the buyer is doing the neglect of legal duty and refuses to accept and pay for the good, then the seller may file the case for the damages. Damages means compensation for the non-acceptance. If the buyer have given the genuine reason, then you can just go. But otherwise you have to give the genuine reason. Okay. Now 57 section, damages for non-delivery. This right is in the favor of buyer. See, favor of buyer. See, where the seller wrongfully neglects. So these sections are opposite. In this one, seller have a right, and in this one, buyer have a right. See, when the seller wrongfully neglect, it means the seller have a legal duty to do that thing. So if the seller refuses to deliver the goods to the buyer may sue for the damages for the non-delivery. So this is important for the SOGA Act. So hope so you like the session, and please remember all the sections of your SOGA Act, okay? Because we have done the module A, in which we have done the Reserve Bank of India Act important sections and the banking regulation. Now we are doing the module D, in which we have done with the important sections of the contract, and today we have finished the term SOGA. So our aim is module D, then module C, and module B. I don't think that there is a module B. I don't think there is a sections of in the module B, okay? So that's why please revise the section of this and this one, okay? And those who are new in this session, so you can see that this batch, which is going to be start from 15 February, this is the bilingual batch. See the bilingual batch in which LRAB will be taught by me, Priyanshu ma'am AFB, and Praveen sir LRAB, sorry, PPB, okay? So this batch is basically for the May-June session. The PPB will be start from 15 February. Timing is 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. 7 March 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. this LRAB, and see the AFB, okay? Now how to purchase this, I'm just going to tell you the way in which you can easily purchase this, okay? So for this thing you have to go to the Adda site. Just give me a time. For this thing you can easily go to the Adda site, as you can easily see, okay? And you have to scroll at this one, okay? Now click on JAIIB cap. If you click on JAIIB, click on JAIIB, okay? If you click on JAIIB, then